Welcome, dear elders, uncles, aunts and friends, to Intergenerational Connection, a place where stories between generations are truly heard, gently shared, and illuminated with understanding. This channel isn't here to teach anyone anything. It's simply a space for us to sit together, like old friends over a pot of tea, or like parents and children gathered around the dinner table, and quietly say to each other, "Yes, that's how life is, isn't it?" At this age, 60, 70, and beyond, many believe we've already weathered all of life's storms. But oddly enough, the roughest winds don't always come from the skies. Sometimes, they rise quietly within our own homes. It's not about big things. Just a few casual words. A well-meant piece of advice. And suddenly, there's distance. The relationships between in-laws, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law become strained, awkward. You want to speak with love, but it turns into silence. You stay quiet out of kindness, but it builds into quiet resentment. And that kind of resentment in older age, it doesn't roar like a storm, but lingers like a fog. It's subtle, constant, and it takes the warmth out of a home. When children give money, accept it, but don't make it a topic. I have an old friend, Mr. Carl, who lives in a small town in Mississippi. His youngest son is an engineer working in Houston. Every now and then, the boy drives home for the weekend and gives his parents a little spending money. Each time, Mr. Carl would tell the neighbors with a proud smile, "My youngest gave me $300 this month. And the one up in Canada, he sent $5." He thought it was just sharing some joy. But one weekend, the youngest came back with his wife, and the boy looked uneasy. After a bit of coaxing, it came out. The whole town had been whispering, "The one in Canada is more generous than the one in Houston." And just like that, Mr. Carl had unintentionally turned love into a competition. The loser felt hurt. The winner didn't feel much better. Money within a family is one of the most delicate topics. Children give out of love, not duty. It's not about the amount, but the sentiment behind it. When we receive it, we should accept it with quiet gratitude. Use it with joy, and let it stay between hearts, not between mouths in the neighborhood. Because each child has a different life. One may send money, another may visit often. Some may not have much, but they call every evening just to check in. If we try to make our children equal in the same way, we only push them further away. What they give us comes from the heart, and the human heart is fragile. One careless word can shake it. Don't be too quick to tell your child to get a divorce. Love needs wisdom. One morning, I was having coffee with my old friend, Mr. Frank, now in his 70s. He shared that his son and daughter-in-law had been having serious arguments. His daughter-in-law works at a bank. High stress, long hours. His son is a high school teacher. Modest pay, sensitive pride, and not exactly helpful around the house. They were fighting all the time. And so, Mr. Frank, out of deep concern, pulled his son aside and said one sentence, "Maybe you should think about getting a divorce. Living like this is too hard on you." It sounded reasonable. It came from love. But from that moment, everything changed. His daughter-in-law found out. She fell silent. His son started coming home less. And Mr. Frank was left wondering, where did I go wrong? Loving your child isn't wrong, but blind love can do real damage. Young couples today argue. It's normal. Anyone who's lived together knows. There are days of exhaustion, harsh words, and heavy silence. But anger passes. The key is this: parents must not add fuel to the fire. As elders, instead of suggesting divorce, we should suggest patience. Listen to both sides, not just your own child, because your child's anger may just be a moment. But a parent's words can feel like a final judgment. Sometimes, all our children need is a shoulder to cry on, not a verdict that pushes them further apart. We've been through it all. We know how hard it is to stay together. So if we truly love our children, let's help them hold on, not let go. Don't impose your life experiences on your children's lives. I once had an old friend, Mrs. Elaine. She raised her only son alone. Through many years of hardship, he grew up, studied abroad, and eventually married an American woman. The first time his wife came to visit, Mrs. Elaine looked her up and down and sighed. A woman who doesn't even know how to cook or wash dishes. Back in my day, a wife took care of her husband's family, top to bottom. From that moment on, her daughter-in-law quietly kept her distance. When they visited, she would travel with her husband, but rarely came by the house. Mrs. Elaine felt hurt and said, "That American girl is so cold." But to outsiders, both sides were hurting. As parents, we've been through struggles. So it's easy to believe, my child should live like I did. That's the right way. But the next generation lives in a different world. They grew up with independence, with shared responsibilities, with values unlike ours. We believe cooking is love. They believe sharing chores is love. We believe a wife should endure. They believe a marriage is a partnership. There's no right or wrong, only differences. And when we demand our children live like we did, we're not loving them. We're taking away their right to live their own lives. That's not love. That's ego. Let your children choose how to love, how to live, even how to fail. We became wise through our own stumbles. Why not let them have that same right? Keeping a family together starts with a wise and gentle tongue. I once heard a beautiful saying, "A wise elder isn't someone who speaks a lot, but someone who knows when to speak and when to stay silent." As parents, as grandparents, our love for our children is limitless. But even love, if it has no boundaries, can become overwhelming. Many elders feel lonely because their children and grandchildren seem distant. But have we ever asked ourselves, is it because we speak too much? We speak about the money our children give and end up comparing them. We talk about others' families and stir up tension. We give impulsive advice and damage marriages. We speak from experience and it becomes control. We speak out of love, but our children feel smothered. In the end, a wise elder is someone who guards their words with kindness, holds a heart full of compassion, and knows when to take a thoughtful step back. Watch your words, protect your peace, and you protect your home. Because the root of family happiness is gentle behavior. The more patient we are, the more our children cherish us. The more understanding we show, the more warmth fills our homes. And remember this, we are not here to control our children's lives. We are here to be a shade tree in their journey. And shade must be still, must be calm, must be comforting, so the young trees beneath it can grow strong and free. Thank you for spending time with us today on Intergenerational Connection, a space where seasoned hearts meet, share, and reflect with one another. If this story touched you, we'd be so grateful if you click subscribe and like, to help us continue bringing warm, thoughtful stories to life. Wishing you a peaceful day. And remember, God is always near, blessing you and your family. See you in the next video.